Monday the Killer Comic.
Thursday Killer Comic Show.
I love that intro. It's good. It just gets better every week, doesn't it?
It's like if you're having a really bad day or a bad week, then just listen to the last 30 seconds of our intro and get yourself absolutely pumped.
Talking about pumped, how are you, mate? You all good?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, no complaints, no complaints. It's another Thursday. I've had a short week at work and, been looking forward to the show.
I'm back home this week. I was in Germany last week getting my shit scared out of me by fire engines coming through the third floor of the hotel, which was pretty scary.
I sort of felt as if we should have put like some sort of warning on for the rewind for people who were wearing the earphones or something like that, because that blew your ears off, that, to be fair.
My God, it did. It like scared the absolute shit out of me. We had that. We had, I think we had Gray over in Japan was having a bloody earthquake at the same time. So it was all kicking off. It was all kicking off, but it's been a good week. It has been good. I'm off tomorrow. I've got the physio for my leg, which I've damaged again.
Getting old, mate. You're getting old. What can I say?
You're only as old. You're only as old as the woman you feel. And
well,
there's a joke there. There's a joke there somewhere. I just don't know.
I was like, is he pausing for comedy value, or is his internet went out again?
Well, to be fair, last week the internet was quite terrible. I was watching a rewind and it was like stutter. This week I'm back in London. There's a storm kicking off. We're told to batten down the hatches, and it's playing bloody shocking this with my Wi-Fi. So if my camera freezes, it's because I've either cracked a really shitty joke and I don't want to be on screen no more, or my internet and my camera, which it just did, has gone off. But it's Thursday. It's 9:00. We do this every single week. Let's get into it. What's the chat saying? We've got Whackers Ashes Tea House. We've got Gray. It's 6 a.m. Friday, Japanese time. Looking forward to this one. See you later. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Morning.
He left that about 12 hours ago.
Good morning.
We've got Matt from Mystery Nights, Brown and Frank. My camera's frozen, but you can still see me. There we go. We've got Captain Comics. He's Ahoy there, Captains, Mates and Mermaids. We've got Padawan. Nice one, Keith. Thank you for joining in, sir. And we have Comics versus the World. I'm just waiting for the follow-up comment of where he says, I'm just dropping in to say hello and I'll catch the replay. But it's, and we got the YouTube Heisenberg. It's Leon Russell. So welcome, everyone. Andy, would you like to get into what you picked up this week?
I would love to get into what I picked up. I picked up quite a few bits and bobs. So let me start off with this book that I picked up. So this is Star Wars on the Front Lines. Ooh. So this basically looks at all the different battles in Star Wars land. And it's by Titan Books. And the reason that I picked it up was a couple of reasons. The artwork in this is absolutely incredible. And it only cost $5. So if you go to Forbidden Planet, this moment in time, I think it's still available. It's £5 and £1 postage. So for £6 in total, I could not pass this up. And what I especially like to do whenever I pick up a book is have a look to see what the actual book looks like. And this, the artwork in this looks absolutely beautiful. So for £6, could not complain. Had to pick it up.
So if anyone's looking to buy that, Andy, will you have a look throughout the show, find the link and drop it in the chat so everyone can pick up a bargain?
I will indeed. It's not, in fairness, it's not like me to promote Forbidden Planet's wares, but
no, not at all.
They did absolutely package this fantastically, so I was happy with that. I picked up a couple of Weird War Tales comics from DC. So I picked up this one, and this is a newsstand, and apparently this is a bit of a key just because of the character that's on the cover and the subject matter. So hopefully nobody's offended by this comic, but I picked this up for £3, and I was delighted to add it to my Weird War Tales collection. I've got quite a few of these now, so that was the first one, and this one is pretty special. So this is the first Frank Millar. Is that you getting ready to vote? See, guys, you caught me. Get caught in the act. That's him getting ready to vote.
I started playing the slide.
So this is the first interior work for DC of Frank Millar. This is Weird War Tales issue number 64, and I think I picked this up for like £2.80, and it's a newsstand, so can't complain at all. And what have we got? You've probably seen this on my Instagram. I'm going to butcher the name of this. Sectors, Warriors of Symbion. This is issue number 1. Again, newsstand edition. And again, this was only a couple of quid as well. So I was happy enough to add that to the collection. Next up, this is from the fantastic Hobgoblin Hideaway claim sale. So I think I picked Sean to the post on this one. This is Witches issue number 1, and this is the Sean Murphy variant cover.
I was trying to get that as well. I think it was between.
Were you trying to get it? Yeah, I think there was 3 or 4 people that tried to pick it up. And I think this was only like £10. So I think I've got most of the Witches issue number 1s. This one was eluding me, so big shout out to Tim for making that one happen. This one is a bit of a ghost book. So this is Avengers issue number 1, or sorry, New Avengers issue number 1. This is the first appearance of Black Swan, but this is the second print, and you can see that by the blue label at the bottom and the blue background cover. The cover A, the first print is a red cover. So this is a second copy of this that I picked up. Mm-hmm. I got it for like £3.50, and it's just because there's a little bit of ink rub on the cover. But
not too bad.
I was delighted to. No, it presents well, to be fair. Again, this is another one that you might have seen on my Instagram. This is Simpsons comic issue number 4. So the reason I picked this one up, apart from it being an absolutely fantastic cover, this actually comes with a trading card inside the comic of one of the characters that's in the comic. So it's not a lot of people know that there's a card inside this, and it's quite highly collectible. So again, I think I paid £4 for this, and for a high grade copy on eBay, you're talking 25-30 quid. So I was delighted to pick that up. Next up is a bunch of David Mack variants for Something Is Killing the Children.
I've seen these doing the rounds on like Facebook, quite a few Facebook groups of like people who've picked these up and shared some pictures and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, like I'm not doing it justice by showing it on the camera, but they are absolutely beautiful. These are getting ready to be sent off to CGC to get slabbed. They present lovely. The artwork is fantastic. So I believe what's going to happen is it comes in packs of 5, and I think I'm subbed up to get all the packs. So I think it will do 1 to 5, then it'll do 6 to 6 to 11, then so on and so forth. So. This is, I don't know what order these in.
They are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely. Present really, really well. I think that's my favourite, this one.
Yeah.
And then we have this one.
See, I like that one.
And this one. And then, interestingly enough, it came with a special sort of backing board. Something's Killing the Children.
Oh, that's nice.
The Slaughter Pack, that's what it's called. Number 1 to 5. So even that, I wanted to keep that because that'd be nice to get signed as well.
And how much was that pack?
So I pre-ordered this through Sub A Comic, and it was $24.99 for the 5 books. So you're talking 5 for each book. And I think on eBay they're going for maybe 40 quid at the minute. So that's the secret, guys. If you see this in previews or you see it on Final Order Cut-Off, make sure that you pre-order it with your LCS or whoever you've got your subs with. Next up is another Forbidden Planet buy. This is Razor Blades.
I've gone. Where have I gone? I've gone off.
Charlie's went a bit green with envy, by the looks of things.
That's right. I'll come back on. It's fine.
I'll continue. So Razorblades issue number 1. This is the horror magazine that James Tynion created. There's lots of different writers involved in this, but this is the variant Jen Bartel cover. And again, this was on sale at Forbidden Planet. I think it's still available. This retailed for like 18 quid when it first came out, and I managed to pick this up for a fiver. And it's quite a thick stock book, so you might want to go check out Forbidden Planet and see if you can pick up a copy yourself.
Does look nice though.
Yeah, it's lovely. Last but not least, this is a bit of a spec book. So this is Swordmaster issue number 1. So this is like the origin of Swordmaster, and it's also when Shang-Chi and Swordmaster meet up for the first time. So I've got another couple of copies of this on the way. This is a kind of a spec play, long-term spec play. I think we'll definitely see Swordmaster in the MCU eventually. So
is that by Ario Anadito, that cover?
Pass. Does anybody in the chat know? I'm not 100% sure.
I think that is Rio Anadito. It says, is it on the top there? He's like a good mate of mine. He was like the first person I interviewed for Geeky Guy Comics.
Do you know what? I think I actually watched that video. My goodness, there's some changes that have happened on this channel since way back then.
I know.
Definitely, everybody that's watching on the rewind, once you've watched this, make sure that you go and check the first, second, third, fourth, fifth video that Charlie put out and just see the changes in Charlie and the channel. It's fantastic. But yeah, that's my lot for this week.
Huh. I'll get on to mine then, shall I? So first up is obviously we all know that our comic shop was not quite mint. Tom has now closed that, and as a parting gift, he sent me this awesome Derek Chew Power Rangers Universe foil cover.
Nice.
This is a little thank you. The story is very lackluster. The story is absolutely shocking, to be fair. It's one of my least, if not the least favourite Power Rangers book I've ever read. Shocking. Absolutely nothing in it.
I don't think I've read a decent Power Rangers book. Now, the Power Rangers fans don't come at me, but I think we've read a couple as part of reviews, and it's been a bit lackluster. The same with Transformers. It's just been really disappointing.
Yeah, I do like my Power Rangers. Like I find myself, where the kids are watching it now, I find myself sitting there watching it and getting into it. But this is a lovely cover, though.
Yeah, it's
really
nice.
Is. Derek Chew does this. Yeah, he's very shiny. So we got that. I had to pick up this fantastic Jen Bartel Hulk issue number 1, She-Hulk. I'm actually gonna send this to CGC because
I think that would be a good call. Yeah.
Do you know what? Like this is from Galactic Comics, and this is just as soon as I see it, I was like, this is awesome. And everyone knows my take on Marvel Comics. I tend not to buy Marvel Comics just because they don't come on cardstock. But this is actually in very, very good condition. So I think as soon as I see this, I was like, I'm going to have to send this to CGC.
I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to comics with that yellow background because everything that's on it seems to absolutely pop. So,
and I love Jen Bartel. Like she's awesome. Like she's really, really good. I picked up not one, but I picked up 2 of these. Issue number 1. I'm going to send these. Are going to go to CGC as well. I'm going to send these off because someone beat me to it on eBay trying to buy one.
I did. I pipped you to the post in a lovely 9.8 made in Korea issue number 1. So sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah. So I've got 3 of these issues now. 2 of them I'm going to send off to CGC.
I think I'm up to 5 copies of issue number 1.
I've got the full one. It's just I've got 3 copies of issue number 1 because you know what
it's almost like I'm holding them at the minute. I'm like I just can't get enough of it. It's just one of those stories that you just want to collect and collect. So,
and then from the Hobgoblin Hideaway, great little show the other week he did. Managed to get this. Now I'm into my lenticulars at the moment. I'm not sure if the camera does this justice, but there we go.
Oh yeah,
I've got a Harley Quinn one. I think I've got a Batman Superman one. And this lovely gentleman to my left has sent me a list that I'm going to look through and prize his arm off to buy some. But then I've got a big boy. I've got a big boy. This is
that's a rumor. That's a rumor, Charlie.
This is the Wonder Woman 750 J. Scott Campbell cover D exclusive 9.8 CBCS.
For everybody that's watching on the replay and watching live, it isn't an 8-bit comic. That's just the poor internet connection. So
It is literally just my poor internet connection. It's not the internet connection. I think it's the camera. But look, it comes with a certificate of authenticity as well. But this is awesome. Like, this is great.
nice.
So, and it's been signed by the man himself.
I love the way J. Scott Campbell signs all his work. It's like, you know, it's just there's no mistaking his signature. It's there, it's in your face, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, that was a good pickup.
Yeah, I love that. Over the moon.
It's a nice okay for that person to send to you as well.
It was nice. It was nice, wasn't it? 8-bit Charlie. Yeah, there we go. Like, let's be honest, right? I'm in London. I'm in Croydon. The signal's not all that, but you know, we just got to do with it. It's live. It's live. We're entertaining you guys. So
it's that Croydon dial-up internet. It's an absolute pain.
I'm not even paying for mine. I'm using my neighbour's internet, so that's what we're doing, Croydon. So. But
get a boy out of London.
You can. But yeah, that's what it was a pretty good week, to be fair. But we've had some people join. We've got Firehawk has joined us all the way from across the pond. Thanks for joining, sir. We have everyone's favourite tennis ball. It is Fuzzy Dunlop. I had that as a kid. We've got GP Venom. I think he's here somewhere. There we go. Howdy all. I've got to say, I've been hilariously entertained with him trying to find his Bigfoot. On his Instagram, he's in search of Bigfoot, so he's doing his videos. He's in search of Bigfoot. So if you ain't checked him out, head over there and have a look at that.
Is it?
No.
Is he actually after Bigfoot?
I think so. And now everyone's ripping the shit out of me because it's either 8-bit Charlie, maybe 16-bit, 32 gig, yeah, whatever. And then we've got the YouTube's number one sexiest man. It is Mr. Mark Oldwood. How you doing, sir? Thank you very much for joining. They were nice pickups. They really, really were. And I'm sure you probably picked up some from Tim's claim sale as well. But that was it. Good week for pickups. Very, very good week for pickups. But I'm not going to forget. I'm going to do it again, Andy. I'm going to get it right. Look.
So proud. Charlie, you remembered?
I did. I got it right. Didn't I get it right? So this is the killer covers for week number 7, which is February the 16th. And up first, Andy.
This was a late entry for me. X Lives of Wolverine, issue number 3. Speaking of the fantastic Jem Bartel, this is a phenomenal cover. By Jem Bartel. When I first saw this, I actually mistook it for is it Dotterman cover? Have you seen those covers lately? Where it's very, very similar to this. But just the background of this is it absolutely pops. The colours, it's typical Jem Bartel colour work on this. It's obviously a massive explosion. Then you got all the different types or caricatures of Wolverine. I think the colours absolutely pop. And I think what in particular I really like is if you look at the very top Wolverine, who's looking particularly buff, if I do say so myself, where his adamantium claws are joining together, that colour work, it just looks as if it's like the sun in the sky. So I went for this Marvel Beauty by Jem Bartel. This is X Lives of Wolverine, issue number 3. And we don't want to give Charlie a big ego, and I think this will be a hat trick if he wins it this week. That'll be 3 in a row. So, guys, come on.
You know what? Work with this is really funny because obviously me and you was like going back and forth. Like we literally found out what we was like choosing 10 minutes before we like come on the show. I really like this cover, man. Like I really, really do like it. Like I'm not a massive fan of like the X-Men of any sort, but Wolverine, yeah, kind of like picks my fancy sometimes. But this cover's wicked. Like it is very, very much like a Russell Dortmund cover.
100%. I think it's one of those covers you can look at 2, 3, 4 times and see different things and you know get enjoyment from it. I think it would look absolutely beautiful if it was a Virgin cover of this as well. So you know, take the letters and stuff like that away from it and just have that and put it in a slab. Oh, beautiful.
Have they not done a Virgin cover of this then? Is it just that?
Not that I've seen. I haven't looked on Jem Bartel's website or anything like that, but as far as I could only see this one. But yeah, if there's a Virgin variant of this, then I will be all over it.
I do like that. That is great. So that's yours. And then I went for Nyx. Is it Nyx? NYX issue number 4.
NYX.
Nathan Scherzi variant cover. Now this is just. I went on the back of this because last week I chose Ghost Rider, and me and you both said anyone who can draw fire and flames is a certain winner. This again was awesome, but there's a number of things why I chose this, and the fire is one of them, and there's 2 others. I'll leave it to the chat to decide what them other 2 are.
The 2 hands, just the way that they're positioned, I think,
yeah,
in particular, and the hair as well is phenomenal. But again, anybody that can draw fire like that deserves kudos. This was my top 3 in my top 3. I nearly picked this one, and I noticed you went for the Virgin as well. So kudos.
This is awesome though, like, because Nathan Scherzi does some great covers. He really does. Like, I think he's done quite a few. But for next, there's been like issues 1, 2, 3, and 4. They've had some fantastic covers. Like, I think Tom picked one a few weeks ago that was amazing. I think that was, like, the neon one as well. But that was wicked. Like, and this is it's a great cover. And let's be honest, it was slim pickings. Like, I would say we've picked 2 of the best covers.
I think definitely not 100%. It was again, that's been the last couple of weeks. It's kind of been rough to pick a comic. I must say this one reminds me of Ivan Teal's work. So the last I think maybe 2 or 3 occasions I've picked Ivan Teal. The only thing that lets this cover down is the background. It's almost like it was an afterthought and they kind of gave up. I think that's why I think mine's is better, because it's not only got the forefront where all the characters are Wolverine, but it's also got the background that absolutely pops. So, guys, just remember that when you're hitting that vote button.
But yeah, so we've got your fantastic cover, and then but looking at that is very similar to the pop of colours that she's done on here. Do you know what I mean? Like, the pop of colours really, really do stand out, and like the neon pinks and the blues and purples and stuff is great. Yeah. Wicked. And then you've got this one as well, which is very, very, now you say it is very, very much like Ivan's hair.
It is. It's that's who I thought it was originally. I don't know if we managed to get one for Tom. I know that he dropped us a message quite late on. Did we get a chance to get Tom's in, or is it just going to be the 2 of us this week?
It's literally just going to be the 2 of us this week, I'm afraid, because he didn't. I mean, he's busy, like, killing himself, bloody doing exams and whatever. But it is what it is. But yeah, it's just us 2 this week. Hopefully, he's back next week or the week after. But yeah, it's just the way it is. If you can't have 3, you have to put up with the 2. But yeah, so that's the covers of the week. Pretty decent, slim pickings this week, but hopefully everyone will make the right choice. So there we are. Week number 6. Obviously, this is a week behind. This is the reviews of the picks that we chose. So Tom did pick a comic this week. Andy, you chose, which was really bizarre and quite shocking, you chose a Marvel comic. You chose Devil's Reign issue number 4. I chose King of Spies issue number 3, and then Tom chose Good Boy issue number 3, which is the final issue, which was quite surprising as well. So, yes, Ryan, we are all missing Tom as well, but he will be back and he will give us the killer keys in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, because we haven't had it for a few weeks. We try and do it, but we just don't do it justice because Tom has all the notes and he's good at what he does, and yeah. We kind of need him back for that, so we're not even going to try.
We're building anticipation for Tom's big return. That's what it is, and from what I hear, the word on the street is that when the date that Tom's returning to the show, we have a big guest coming on as well. So something to look forward to.
Yeah, we do. I totally forgot about that. Yes, we do have a massive guest coming on. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But this is week 6 review, and up first, Andy, I think it's you, mate. So there are, I think
there's a billion covers. So there's a billion covers for this, and yes, surprise, I went for a Marvel book. I think like the covers, I think it was a little bit slim pickings for the books. So we've got the main cover there by Marco Checchetto. We've got the 1 in 25 by Lenil Francis Yu. We have the Sway Black History Month variant, which is fantastic. We have the phenomenal Mark Bagley connecting variant. I love Mark Bagley's work. So this is written by Chip Zdarsky, and the artwork is by Marco Checchetto. So I'm going to be fully upfront with this one. I was 2 issues behind. I hadn't read issue number 3 and I hadn't read issue number 4. I don't know how I missed issue number 3. So whenever we were doing our reading for this, I had to do the double on that. So I'm just going to concentrate on issue number 4. That's what we're reviewing. For me, overall, I think this 4 issues has been a really slow burn for me. It's been a really, to get to where it is at the moment, it's for me, it could have been done in maybe a couple of issues, and it almost feels slightly dragged out. Issue 4 kind of kicks off, and we're kind of 2 weeks ahead of time from issue number 3. And what kept me engaged in this one wasn't Chip Zdarsky's writing, scarily enough, and I always saying how much I love Chip's work. It was the artwork for me. I thought Marco Checchetto's artwork was absolutely sublime, particularly on this issue. Obviously, we're dealing with Fisk, who is, as we all know, is a typical control freak, and he is using the powers of the Purple Man to effectively get the New York to vote for him. And we've got a situation that we thought of at issue 1 is like, well, why doesn't he use the powers of the Purple Man to change not only the voting, but just change things that have happened in his past that he has forgotten about? And it gets to the end of issue number 4, and we get to that point where he all of a sudden goes, wait a wee second here, I can actually change the past here. And the 2 panels that I've chosen, so the one on the right hand side is quite possibly one of the best pages I have seen this year. Checchetto absolutely knocks us out the park. If this is a Virgin variant cover for one of the issues or for a second print, I would absolutely. Can you imagine this in a print up on your wall? It would look absolutely phenomenal. What did you think of the book, Charlie?
So I've been reading this from issue 1, and I was really behind it. Like, I kind of, and I've said it time and time again, I kind of get behind like these big Marvel. We've got something new coming. We're going to introduce new characters and a new platform. It's going to be a new story no one's ever seen before. I think Tom picked issue number 1, and I was like, oh, I'm really looking forward to this. If he hadn't picked it, I would have done. Chip Zdarsky is killing Daredevil at the moment. Like, he's killing Daredevil. He's absolutely smashing it. And then obviously Elektra's now taken over the mantle of Daredevil, so he's doing that as well. It's been great, but again, it's just a Marvel story rehashing the same shit over and over and over again. We've got the same superheroes doing the same stuff, coming up against the same villains. I think this is actually the first time, though, that I've seen Moon Knight appear with the rest of, like, Sue Storm, Reed Richards, Iron Man, Luke Cage and stuff. So that was quite interesting. Like this panel you chose here, that was quite interesting. Like when you see him and he's just come out of prison and he's kind of holding one of the guards hostage. I am enjoying this story. I'm really, really enjoying this story. And it's this and Dark Ages as well that I'm enjoying. But again, this issue for me was the artwork. The story is obviously good. It flows, and Marco works really well with Chip, and you can see that. But the artwork was really, really intricate in this story, and I really enjoyed it. Like that panel where you just picked a Fisk is, but the whole build up to that, you can kind of see him trying to where it's going, because obviously he's got his walking stick, he's got the Purple Man in it, and he kind of grabs hold of his wife, and something triggers, and you think, I just need some fresh air. Walks up to the rooftop, and it just clicks, and you can just see everything. And the fact that it's raining as well just adds to the emotion of him just letting loose, thinking,
this issue, though, I think specifically this issue and what's going to happen, and I believe next issue is the final issue of this run. I think it will have an impact on the MCU for the next 10 years, because the possibilities that can come out of this next issue and what we found at the end of issue 4 are kind of unbelievable, because he can basically go back and change everything, and he all of a sudden remembers Matt Murdock. But I do agree with you that like the last 4 issues, the 4 issues have been like Marvel superhero bingo. So it's almost like whenever Moon Knight turned up, you were like, oh, there's another one, I'll take that off the list. Oh, there's another one. I picked this panel on the left hand side just because I thought it summed up the book pretty perfectly in the artwork. The composition, the way that you saw the the way that he's got the hand in the forefront, and it
Mhm.
kind of leads you all round that page. And then at the front, you've got Moon Knight, and at the in the head of him, you've got the character that he's obviously punching in the face. I just think the composition of some of the panel work was fantastic. The color work was great, but that last page that I've got on the right hand side there. Sorry, it's a huge spoiler for everybody that hasn't read the book, but that's probably going to be one. If we do like a top 5 pages, this is definitely going to be up there as one of the best for this year.
But do you know what? This panel you picked on the left, it just reminds me of, you know, when all the Avengers are introduced to King in Black, and they've got that
Yes.
1-page spread.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that, like the proportions of the characters, like the layout of the characters and stuff like that. And if you go back across like 3 or 4 of the previous Marvel comics with the big crossovers and stuff, there always seems to be a panel like this where you've got like a certain hero at the forefront, and then the kind of the other ones fading behind. You've got the central character as like the main central focus for you. It seems to be something that Marvel do, and I think it is. It seems to work. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, Marvel, one of the biggest comic book sellers, movie producers in the world. So they're obviously doing something right. And little old us from the Killer Comic Show, our opinions aren't really relevant. But at the end of the day, we're reading these comics and we're fueling the fire. But I think they really do need to start mixing up their stories, man. Because even though it's enjoyable, it needs something new.
I do think it's a sort of modern riff to this sort of story that we've probably read a million times in the past. I think this is the issue where things turn, and it turned in the last 3 or 4 pages of this issue, and that I cannot wait for this 5th issue. I think this is going to be fantastic when it comes out in trade paperback. I think sitting down with this, just with a cup of coffee and reading all 5 issues is the way to go, because I definitely benefited from reading issue 3 and 4 together. So guys, like, someone's going to be picking issue number 5 to review, because, as I say, I think it'll have reverberations across the MCU for quite a while.
GB's picked up on a good thing. If your panel on the left hand side was the cover, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
You never know. There might be a second print, third print. You know how Marvel likes to do that. But yeah, give me that cover on the right all day long.
But I think this is what Marvel risk doing. Is like, as Ryan said, after X of Swords and King in Black, I've given up on Marvel crossovers. I think a lot of people are doing that, and I have to give credit where credit is due, because Devil's Reign, the crossovers, like all the tie-ins and stuff, I've been reading every single one, and they're really enjoyable. Like, you can kind of dip in this and go and read Daredevil, and then you jump out and you read Spider-Woman 19 and 18. I think you would read like Devil's Reign, Winter Soldier, and they all tie in properly. Where King in Black was, I think you had a one-shot of Thunderbolts that we never see again, and it didn't really tie into the story. I think you see Noel appear, and then that's it, and then you don't know what the aftermath of that is. With this, it all ties in, so it all circles back to the main story, which is a good way of doing it.
So I have a theory for issue number 5. So I thought one of the most compelling parts of the issue was when Butch basically stood up to his dad and spat in his face, and basically. I thought, wow, I have never seen anybody stand up to Fisk like Butch did on that. So I have a theory that this next issue, we will see the end of Kingpin. We will see Kingpin killed by Butch.
You know what?
And Butch will become the new mayor, and he will effectively become the new Fisk.
Well, he's already been called like the new Kingpin, isn't he? Because Wilson Fisk doesn't want to be known about that. But yeah, it is. He doesn't even react to when his son spits in his face. Like, he doesn't even. He's so subdued. It's kind of like, whoa, is this the Kingpin that we know? And is this the Kingpin? I was going to say know and love, but yeah, he is like a lovable rogue that you can't help but love. But yeah, he doesn't react at all. And you'll think, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to put you in your place. And you can see Butch going, I'd like to see you try.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's a way that he sort of looks around to the side. He's like, yeah, I'd like to see you try. And it's just like, wow, nobody's actually stood up to Kingpin like this before. So guys, that's my theory. I think we might see the end of Kingpin and his son taking over.
The chat's buzzing about this story, so it was obviously a good one to pick. Ryan said that it is a Marvel template, and they do kind of do it with different characters and stuff. I think we've come to expect that, and sometimes love it from Marvel, because we kind of know what we're getting when we open up the comic. We've got Marcus. So one of the problems with reading great indie comics is that the standard Marvel and DC stuff becomes very repetitive, except for the exceptional stuff. I do agree with you on that. I think if you go back before indies were really like taking over and putting out some serious stuff, Marvel comics were what everyone was into, and they couldn't do no wrong. But I think now there's serious competition from the likes of Boom Studios, Image, Scout, Press, even they're pushing the boundaries now. I think Marvel are like, we need to up our game. And
I think with Marvel, for me, with indie stories, the stories are so solid and so good, and they're so like real life that you can forgive it being kind of a haphazard artwork because you go, oh, that's an indie book, that's what you expect. But I think whenever I read a Marvel or DC story, I can forgive the story if the artwork is absolutely fantastic. So
yeah.
it's kind of a weird that way.
Wakazashi's just said, wow, how many comics are you reading at the Killer Comic Show? Or is that a silly question? I normally read, this is no exaggeration, I'll probably read about 11 or 12 comics a week.
Yeah.
I don't sleep. I do not sleep. So I sit there reading.
I'm literally reading. I'm lucky if I get to read what we have to review at the moment on a weekly basis, which is really, really disappointing. Because I was like you, I used to read, 10, 11, 12 books. But yeah, I read most of my comics digitally anyway, so I've just got them all sitting on the iPad ready to go. So,
but do you know what I'm doing now? I'm looking at comics that are coming out, and I'm thinking I'm going to wait until the trade paperback comes out. That's what I find myself. It's like the evolution of a comic book reader. You start picking up your one shots, then you start picking up your whole runs, and then before you know it, you think, I'm going to sack off this run and I'm going to wait until the trade paperback comes out. The last 3 or 4 weeks, I've picked up trade paperbacks, and I'm looking forward to reading them. But I'm also collecting the single issues as well, which is.
Do you know what trade paperback that I didn't get?
What?
The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, and apparently it's sold out at Diamond. Devastated.
If I head to Croydon tomorrow, I'll see if I can pick you up one, and I'll get it in the post, yeah. Because I got mine from Forbidden Planet, and it's only a small one, so not a lot of people really go there. But they had like 2 or 3 in there, so if I can, I'll get you one.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
All right. What have we got? What's the group chat reading? So we got Firehawk. He's reading Thor and Hulk. Currently been buying Wolverine and Moon Knight. I think a lot of people dropped off the Moon Knight. If I'm honest, like I think after issues 1 and 2, I was like, but is it worth getting back into, Ryan? Let me know. Drop it in the chat. That'd be good.
I think we reviewed issue number 1 way back, didn't we? And I don't think it sort of stuck with us. But yeah, if you want a really good Moon Knight run, then the Declan Shalvey covers that run absolutely sublime.
Buy issue number 1, then the trade paperback. I think that's the way to go. And then GP it's all about the trades.
No, I'm all about the single issues. At the moment, I can't move over.
He says. So for me, I'm going to give this a killer. I think just for that panel alone on the right hand side, it just gives it a killer.
For me, it was a killer. Absolutely, yeah.
And you know what's really with this issue especially, I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes from Daredevil now. Like, even though Chip Zdarsky's run was it's incredible, but I'm looking forward to it even more after what's going to happen after the end of this issue.
Oh, honestly, I think this is. I can't remember reading a comic and then being so looking forward to the next issue that's coming up. I think the last time that happened was with Silver Coin, but this one in particular, I'm all in now. If I had any doubts, and it's a Chip Zdarsky thing as well. It's like you can't doubt him because he always drags you back in.
Yeah, he does indeed. Let's have a quick look at the vote. Andy, you're winning with 62%, mate. I am.
Come on, guys.
With 38%. So it's good. But so that's Marvel. So that's a killer, 2 killers. Good way to start off the show. Up next, right? This was my pick. This is King of Spies, issue number 3, written by Mark Millar, art by the fantastic, the sensational Matteo Scalera. There's 3 covers for this. I'm picking up all 3 covers. I did the same with issue 1. I did the same with issue 2, and I'm doing the same with issue number 3. Main cover is by Matteo Scalera. Cover B is by Matteo Scalera, which is the black and white. And cover C, he's smashing it again. Is Oscar Yildirim with a cover C variant. This story for me, right, is so enjoyable. It is basically James Bond at 65, 70 years old, mixing a bit of Jason Bourne, mixing a bit of, I don't know, Jack Reacher. It's wicked. It's such an enjoyable, fun story. There's so many elephants. Yeah, there's so many elephants in the room to get rid of. There's so many elements of this book that make it enjoyable. And I like these two characters on the right hand side of the cover. They are just awesome characters. Like we mentioned it last week. She's got no arms, he's got no legs, but what they do and who they are, the assassins, it just works. The whole story, like for me, I can't help reading this, looking at the artwork that Matteo Scalera's done, because he did the same work and he did the artwork for the Harley Quinn Batman White Knight. And there's elements in this that you look at and you think, this guy's killing it. Like, I can't sing this praise for this comic enough. I can't sing the praise for Matteo Scalera enough, and obviously Mark Millar writing this story. This is just seriously, if you like your crime, James Bond-esque, secret agent stories, I'd definitely get into this. And I think, what's his Mark has said, King of Spies is James Bond on ketamine. It is a million miles a minute, but the action scenes are awesome. It really, really is. And before I go into the panels, Andy, what did you think about it, mate?
Well, again, this was another book that I had missed issue number 2, and again, Charlie, you picked this and you dragged me all the way back in. I read issue number 2, loved it. I actually messaged you and said, "My God, that was good." And then I read issue number 3 for tonight. Let me start with the artwork. So the artwork is sublime. There is what I don't know what pages you picked or panels, but there was one particular panels where he's diving through the air, and the way that it's drawn by Matteo Scalera, it just, you could feel the pace of it and going through the air. I wish we had that page actually. I wish I'd have sent that to you. It is phenomenal. It took my breath away whenever I went onto that page. The color work in this in particular as well, the panel positions as well. I think myself and Tom have talked a lot about panels and how it's really important how they're positioned and stuff. I think the page on the right hand side is a great example of how this is done, and sets the story up perfectly. The story is, I think calling this anything to do with James Bond is a complete disservice to this comic. I honestly do. I think this comic is beyond anything that James Bond has ever done in movies. It has the action, it has the pace, it has that sort of British element to it. But as far as storytelling, as far as action, as far as villains go, this book is absolutely off the charts. It's brutal. Some of the scenes in this are not for the faint-hearted. It will take your breath away. And some of it, actually, you can sort of go, oh, do you know what? I don't know if I enjoyed that. It's almost taken it a step too far. Think of this is what Berserker wanted to be. This is exactly what Berserker wanted to be. This has everything plus 10 that Berserker ever wanted to be. And I'm so glad that we got into this book. I cannot wait to see what the next issues are going to come up with. And I'm telling you right now, this is just set up for TV or a movie. It's
100%. And do you know what this is? So basically, he's a secret agent that's coming to retirement. He's found out he's got, is it terminal cancer? He's got terminal cancer.
Yeah, he's got cancer. He's got 6 months to live. Yeah.
And he's just thought, right, do you know, I'm going to right all the wrongs that I've done. I've been working for a fucking corrupt company that's getting me to go around and be their dog's bride and do all the work. And he's kind of just thought, I'm going to put the world to rights now. I've picked this panel on the left-hand side because this is, I didn't see this coming. It's come totally out of left field. If you haven't read this book already, I'm going to go into a bit of a spoiler, just a tiny little one. The guy he's got is the Pope. The people that are looking at him are members of the church. And at the bottom panel, shit's about to kick off. That's what I'm going to say. But I didn't see it coming, right? And it's quite a taboo subject, but it's very relevant. Like, you hear about it all the time. You hear about it all the time. You don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know if it is happening, and you hear about like the Illuminati and the church keeping secrets and stuff like that. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, "Ooh, this is a bit close to the bone," but it works.
It's definitely not for the faint-hearted.
No.
I think Mark's just picked up on issue 2 where an American president and some prime ministers find their ultimate end, and it's quite obvious through the artwork and just through the environment and positioning of the characters that you kind of associate them with real life characters. And again, with this particular panel and this particular storyline, this is exactly what you're doing as well, because as you say, it's familiar. You've heard it in the news before. It's not something that you haven't heard of before, which makes it even more uneasy to read. And the artwork makes it even more unsettling because you don't imagine you would ever see that sort of thing. You definitely wouldn't see it on the TV, but to see it on a 3 or 4 panels over 2 or 3 pages was quite disturbing.
And the following panel from this one on the left, where he just walks off and thinks, "My job's done." The way that Matteo Scalera's artwork, that you're kind of left thinking, oh, I wonder what is going to happen. Like, I wonder what's going to happen. You can kind of see what the next panel would be if he was to draw it, or would you? Like, the way that he's left it is that your mind's drawing the next page for you, and your kind of mind just wanders off, and your imagination runs wild. I've picked a panel on the right because this is all kinds of batshit crazy. Like this for me, just this character, right? The disabled, what should we call them? Should we call them the disabled assassins? They are tough motherfuckers. They really, really are. They just hell for leather every single issue they've been in, a mile a minute.
Yeah, so I think they were introduced in issue number 2. We got a little bit of their backstory, and then issue number 3, it obviously comes to fruition because they essentially get asked to go and assassinate the King of Spies. But also the most interesting thing I thought about this is the fact that they introduced his son. So we're almost getting like a curveball there where it's going to be son against father. And, what's the backstory of that? What's the relationship got to where he wants to kill his dad?
Yeah.
And does he know that his dad's only got 6 months to live? So is there going to be a bit of a, I don't know. I just think this is an excellent story.
There's a great line in it where he, I think the MI5 or one of the agents is turn around to his son and say, "Oh, I thought all of the kings smoked cobs," and he's like, "Yeah, that's why I'm not." I just thought it's just a quick witness. Like again, for me, this is a comic that I'm even ashamed to say that I've bought 3 covers for every single issue that came out, and they're not doubles; they're 3 different covers.
I was just literally, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, are they all the same covers?
But this is 100%. This is a killer. Like, and this is, I cannot wait for this to come out in a trade because it is going to be amazing.
No, 100%. I think this is a sleeper book. I don't think a huge amount of people are on this, and I think it's because they associate it. Oh, it's just another James Bond-esque from the covers. But once you open up that book and see the interiors, the great storytelling, and the fantastic artwork, this is potentially going to be top 5 for me this year.
I would say for this artwork, this is Matteo Scalera at his best. Like, honestly, this is. I can picture it now as a trade paperback or a hardback. Just it's going to stand out. It's amazing. Like the pictures on it don't do it justice. Like pick up this book, look at it for yourself because it is, as Andy said, it's going to be, as you said, mate, it's going to be a sleeper book, and it's such a great book. Such a great book.
Yeah,
so,
I would like and I know a lot of people who are watching, would take our recommendations and stuff that we think is good. If you haven't tried this, don't wait until the trade. Pick up the first 3 issues, sit down and enjoy them. The storytelling is fantastic. The artwork is superb, and you won't be disappointed. You'll be absolutely hooked.
100% killer for me. Ironically,
killer for me too.
It's ironic.
Yeah.
So then up next we had Tom's pick, which was Good Boy issue number 3. So this is by Scout. Is it Scout Source Point Press?
Source Point Press, yeah.
Yeah, and this is obviously written by Christina Blanch and Garrett Gunn, and the artwork is by Kit Wallis. There's there was 12 or 14 covers. So the main cover is by Nick Bradshaw. Cover B, I don't know who the artist is for that. You've got the Trinity Comics Matrix Reloaded homage. You've got the Kickstarter foil exclusive. Then we have the Bombardier and Son variant Trey Antler cover. We've got the Brian Silverbacks variant cover. We've got the Tris Forstner, who is obviously from Stray Dogs. This is the Speed homage. Speed homage. And then we've got the Rusty Mug and More exclusive variant cover. What did you think of this? Because I know you had to read like all 3 issues.
Yeah, well, I read issue number 1. I skipped issue number 2 because I couldn't find it digitally, and then I read issue number 3. Not a lot of writing in this, I think it's fair to say. A lot of artwork. I don't know what I expected. I think just because there's so many different covers by so many different artists, I didn't know what to expect for the interiors. And then what I got with the interiors is what I would call typically indie interiors. The artwork is very much indie. I don't know if it adds to or takes away from the story, but anytime you're getting into this book, you're obviously familiar with the storyline. It's John Wick reversed effectively. So, and they've kept the storyline. They've kept very much, like for like on the movies. I don't know. I'm sort of kind of on the fence. I wasn't. I've heard so many good things about this, and I don't know if you take away the fact that this is a homage to John Wick, does this book have anything special?
I've got to agree with you. I don't think it does. I think now let's be brutally honest, and like we speak to like Garrett Gunn. I speak to him quite a bit and stuff, and we was like speaking to him when he came out and stuff. There's a lot of animal books at the moment. You've obviously got Stray Dogs that was amazing. Then you had Stray Dogs that came back out with like the individual stories. We've got Animal Castle, and then we've now got Good Boy. If this wasn't a Keanu Reeves-esque John Wick story, you're 100% right. I don't think people would get into it. I think with all the covers that are surrounding it as well, I don't think if it was just one cover, I don't think it's going to get as much interest as it is, because movie covers, homage covers, they sell. They grab the audience. They grab a different audience that the target audience of the comic won't necessarily attract to. But with 8 or 9 covers coming out for a comic book that's about John Wick, which is a fantastic movie, they're pretty smart in what they've done. They've basically taken John Wick's dog, turned him into John Wick, and John Wick and his wife have died, and he's out for revenge. Yeah. There's so many similarities in it. Like, if you're not reading this comic, I'm going to say it because this came out like 2 weeks ago, last week. The coin that's in John Wick even makes an appearance in this. The hotel that's in John Wick even makes an appearance in this. It is a John Wick story about a dog, and I think it's enjoyable. It is enjoyable. I'm not going to say it is an easy read. There's not a lot of narrative in it. The artwork is what you would expect from a Kickstarter indie book, but I am enjoying it. It's only 3 issues, and the trade paperback I think comes out in June. But I have enjoyed these 3 issues.
It's fun. It's fun. I'll definitely give it that. It's fun. It's light-hearted. It's like, you don't need to think too hard when you're reading it because you're familiar with the content. It is a John Wick adaptation turned on its head, which makes it kind of a quirky, kind of a cool. And the artwork does all the talking, literally. And some of it is quite brutal. It doesn't hold back. There's lots of violence in this. It's only 3 issues that you're buying into as well. But I guess with those 3 issues, you have lots and lots of covers. And I think I would just worry that if you take away all those cool covers, would anybody be picking up this series? I'm just not 100% sure.
And have you noticed, Mark just said, I read issue number 1, I found it unoriginal, just a market employing animals books, not a Stray Dogs or Animal Castle. 100%, totally agree with you, and I hope we covered that in the previous statement what we said. But have you noticed on that Rusty Mug and More exclusive, he's cuddling a gravestone that says John Sparks.
Yeah.
Now wick is on a candle, isn't it? And you spark a candle to light it. So that's a pretty cool play on words. Like it is a fun comic. It's not going to win no awards. What I did like though is that Garrett Gunn, he's really gone all out with this. So like he kind of with the Kickstarter, if you invested in the Kickstarter, you got a whole briefcase, like a proper briefcase.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You can check it out on his Instagram. That's got the emblem of, I can't remember what the name of the hotel is called in John Wick, but it's got that emblem on the briefcase. And when you open up the briefcase, you got a 9.8 graded Good Boy issue number 1. You got, I think, 2 or 3 Raw comics, and I think you got some of the coins as well, which is really good. So if you was to invest in that for a Kickstarter, that's a pretty good prize. Not a prize. That's a pretty good what you get for investing in a Kickstarter. So the whole thought process thing about it is great. I just don't think the story is as good as they intended it to be. Don't get me wrong, it is a good story. It's a fun story. It's not going to win any awards, but the whole premise of it, of you invest in this Kickstarter and you get all this free, is more attractive than the story, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does definitely. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what we get next. Like, how can they take it an extra step? Like, are we going to get like Bad Boy? Are we going to get like Good Girl? Good
Down Boy. Down Boy.
Del Boy. Are we going to get stuff like that? Yeah, I'll be interested to see where it goes. But yeah, it was fun for what it was.
I mean, just like, so this is the artwork of it, and it's very much, you can tell it's kind of a Kickstarter from the artwork of it, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. There ain't a lot to it. It is a bit rough around the edges, but
it's a super quick read. Like, and I say read in the the loosest sense of the term. I was worried that I was going to be spending ages this week reading comics, but literally flew through issue number 1 and issue number 3 of this. Maybe I missed something quite important in issue number 2, but I'm not too sure if I did, to be fair. And the fact that I was able to miss issue number 2 kind of tells me everything I need to know.
It's not in many comics where you get to see men at a dog strip club. This is like Battersea Dog's Home for pervs.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Basically. But I can't call this a killer, and I can't call it a binner, because I think the fact is that if you invested in the Kickstarter, you would be happy with what you got. You would be like, a lot of Kickstarters, they grade 1, grade 2, and at the end you'll get 6 issues. We'll sign them for you, and etc. The Kickstarter behind this is something to be excited about receiving, even if you didn't read the comic. So if you do get a chance, head over to Garrett Gunn's Instagram. You can see what he put up, because it is cool. It is good. Like, it's a whole John Wick suitcase and stuff, and what you get in it is very interesting. But I'm probably going to read it, volume number 2. I'm probably going to pick this up as a trade, because I'm a good boy.
Nice. I love that. I like what you did there. No, I'm kind of sitting on the fence on this one. I wouldn't say it was a killer or a binner. I think the fact, I'm going to give it probably a killer just for the idea and the concept that it was flipped on its head, and it would be interesting to see how many other movies that they'll do something similar with this, where there's been, like, there's been an animal involved in the movie and it flips it on its head. I'm actually thinking, whilst we're speaking, is there any movies that jump to mind that you could actually flip it on its head? Chat, help us out here.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, I don't really think there is there? Like,
I can't think of many, to be fair, but I'm sure there's probably some.
But yeah, that was this week, wasn't it? That was this week done.
Indeed.
So yeah, 2 killers and a on the fence, or in a doghouse, as it were. But yeah, so normally we'd go into Killer Keys, but I think it's time to get your rock on. Get your rock on.
I tell you, I'm the least rock and roll person ever, but I'll take it. I'll take it every Thursday. A little bit of rock and roll in my life. This is the Killer Indies for next week. That's February the 23rd. And
you got control. It's over to you.
Oh, am I in control? Oh, this is a bit that I don't like, guys. I'm not, like, anxiety's kicking in and stuff like that. Yes. So first up, we have Killer Affairs of State issue number 1. This is a new Boom Studios number 1, written by Mats, who I've never heard of, and art is Luc Jacamon. And this caught my eye. Now, it was a synopsis that caught my eye. It wasn't really the covers, because the covers are very much like this. It doesn't give a huge amount away.
Looks like a Grand Theft Auto, don't you think? Like Grand
It
Theft
does.
Auto
It feels a
Vice
little bit
City.
like that. Yeah, it doesn't give much away, but the synopsis is saying, caught and put to work as an on-call assassin for the French government, Killer has to adjust to working with a handler, a partner, and living life as a civilian. An underhanded target, a City Hall employee, leads Killer and his partner Nicholas towards a sinister web of city-wide corruption. But while Nicholas assures Killer that it's all for the greater good, will Killer ever be able to get back to his nihilistic lifestyle, free from debt and government associations? Like, it's a heavy synopsis. There's a lot in there, like, and which is kind of a juxtaposed to the cover art. But again, Boom Studios, another number 1, and it's kind of a flown under the radar. I think it may be one I'll give a quick read just to see what it's all about. Charlie, do you think you'll give this one a read?
Well, I like my GTA, so I think I will give this a run. No, why not? Right, it's Boom Studios.
See what it's like. It might be one of those ones that we'll absolutely love. So we shall see. Next up, this is one for our good old Tom. This is Transformers War's End issue number 1. This is written by Brian Ruckley, and the artwork is by Jack Lawrence, who I think is friends with Tom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's good friends with Tom,
Yeah, so, like, let's be honest, the Transformers books that we've read as part of the show haven't been the greatest by any stretch of the imagination. So I thought, you know what, we'll go for the third time lucky with this one. So the synopsis reads that the threefold spark has returned and nowhere on Cybertron is safe. Exarchon, who single-handedly started Cybertron's last war, walks among the living again, reunited with his former generals Shockwave and Skywarp. He seeks once more to conquer Cybertron, but there may be hope if, see some of the names in this, it's unbelievable. Sinopus can convince Megatron to work with the Autobots, the can't-miss companion to the Transformers ongoing. Now, that doesn't mean anything to me, but I'm sure Tom will go, oh, that sounds absolutely fantastic. So that's the reason why I put it on the list. That's Transformers War End, issue number 1.
I just think Transformers is constantly rehashing, like how many Optimus Prime meets, I don't know, Deirdre in a bakery and gets a cup of tea and sits down with Bumblebee, and then next minute they're fighting. Like, it's just...
Listen, the only thing Transformers needs is robots kicking the shit out of each other. See, once they start involving humans and stuff like that, that's when it goes downhills. That's why the movies kind of were poor. Next up, we have a new number 1. Supermassive, which isn't a life story about Charlie. This is written by Kyle Higgins.
I'm such a kid.
Ryan Parrott and Matt Groom, and the artwork is by Francesco Manna. So this is sort of suggested as being the superhero crossover event of 2022, spinning out of 2021's hottest new superhero debut, Radiant Black, launches into his first crossover event ever with Image Comics' debut of Inferno Girl Red, who I'm assuming is the character on the front there, and the first appearance of Rogue Sun. The future of Image's superhero universe is here. So I know that we've got a lot of Radiant Black readers in the chat and who watch the Rewind. Charlie, are you a fan of Radiant Black?
I've read the first 4 issues of Radiant Black, and I think I spoke to one of the artists in America that did like a variant cover for it. I was really like, it's just another, like, this is a lame ass superhero, like, this ain't going nowhere. That was a sleeper book. That kind of just blew up, and like covers were going for left, right, and centre and stuff like that. Maybe I need to get back into it. Maybe it's a trade paperback that I pick up. See, this is it. Right, if you miss something now, you're like, I'm going to pick it up on a trade paperback. But this is Ryan Parrott. I think he's now stopped doing Power Rangers, if I'm correct. He stopped doing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he's now venturing out. And Ryan Parrott is a great writer. So yeah, this could be a super massive book.
I like what you did there. I think the only way that I'll be reading this is if one of you guys pick it. So I don't think so.
I don't think I'll be picking it. I'll say that, but I probably will.
Just to annoy me.
just to annoy you. Yeah, why not?
So that's Supermassive issue number 1. Next up, we have Follow Me Into the Darkness issue number 1 by Behemoth.
That's what she said.
Is written...
With your Supermassive.
I've connected all of these. You see that? So this is written and artwork by Damien Clonley. And I'm looking to see if I had my synopsis. Yeah, so this is a sequel to the series that moved 55,000 copies, which is phenomenal for Behemoth.
Yep.
Less than a day until the apocalypse, the darkness guides Yuko and Sebastian to Alaska. There, they will look for a girl who lives hiding in the forest and who may be the key to prevent the imminent final judgment. Meanwhile, the children of the comet face a new and peculiar threat in Colosimo's Chinatown. So it feels like this is a one that you're going to have to be familiar with the previous arc to sort of know what's going on in this one.
Has she been drinking coffee and tipped it all over her face, or is that a map?
That looks like a map to me, potentially.
Of Alaska?
Potentially. But good spot. Nice. Moving on. Next up, we've got Step by Bloody Step, issue number 1. This is written by Simon Spurrier, and the artwork is Matthias Bergara. Sorry. This is one that I'm particularly looking forward to. I think this will be one of the books to definitely get on your pull list. An armored giant and a helpless child, together they cross an astonishing world brimming with beasts, bandits, and deadliest by far, civilization. If they stop walking, the earth itself forces them onwards. Why? The children can't ask. She and her guardian have no language, no memory, nothing except each other. So it sounds like a cool concept. And I think, again, another Image book. Image, we've said it before this year, that they seem to be bringing out a lot of really good stuff. I think as issue 1s go, I'll probably pick it up. And there's a 1 in 50 by Jock, so I'll definitely have to pick it up.
You know what? I think I remember reading a book by, I think it was Simon Spurrier and Chris Wildgoose, and it was called Alienated. And it was about these three teenagers that were connected, an alien lands, and they're connected to them, and it feeds on each of their different emotions. Like, one of them's really loving, one of them hates the world, and one of them doesn't know what to do with himself. Simon Spurrier is a really, really good writer, and the premise of this sounds really, really good. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Like, this will be.
There's been a huge amount of marketing for this book as well. So normally when they put that amount of effort into it, there's a reason for it. So I'll definitely be picking.
I think Scott Young's done a cover for this as well.
Yeah, I think there's a few. So I know Jock's done one. I know Scott Young's done one. I think this is obviously Matthias Bergara's cover. And I think there's a lot of store variants for this. I think they opened it up to do lots of store exclusives. So yeah,
this is going to be a sleeper. This I really do think it's a bit sleeper. So if you're in the chat, I'd pick this up because I think it's going to go through the roof. I think Evil Bay will have it going stupid amounts already, but yeah, definitely.
100%. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Radio Apocalypse issue number 2. Is it just me, or does it seem like literally months since we read issue number 1?
Ages ago.
Unbelievable. So obviously this is one of the show's favourites, Ram V doing writing, and artwork by Anand Radnahaskrishnan.
Right.
Yeah. I committed. Sorry, Anand. Who these guys have obviously worked a huge amount together. If you haven't caught the show,
you should have just put Anand RK. That's what I do.
That's what he normally goes with, but this issue 1 was fantastic. This is obviously by Vault Comics. Synopsis reads: as refugees from Kings Creek seek to undertake the perilous journey to the settlement at Bakerstown, the day tripper must carry their missives while daylight still lingers in the sky, but the wastelands that lie in between can be a dangerous place. So come traverse the desolate places with Rufus and Crow on a 2-wheel road trip with Radio Apocalypse for company.
I'm all in for this. Like I
Yeah.
bought a few covers of this as well as I surprised myself. I thought I only bought one, but then Andy, you lovely man that you are, you surprised me with 3 of them. We're talking about how long ago this came out. So the issue number 1 came out on the 17th of November last year. Right, issue
Right.
number 2 comes out next week, and then
Mhm.
issue number 3 isn't out until the 18th of May.
Wow.
And then the trade paperback is TBC, but that's probably not going to be until December. Like that's massive, and I know like Ramsey is massively busy at the moment. If you haven't followed him, like he's doing Venom, he's now doing Carnage, he's
And
now
he's
literally
just
just
announced
announced
doing. Just announced. Go on, Charlie. Go on.
that he's doing a DC Black Label Aquaman, like which
Wow.
is, do you know what I mean? So he is literally going to be. He's very busy, so yeah, you can kind of see why this is taking like 3 or 4 months at a time to be released. But it's a great comic; it's wicked. And what I did with issue number 1 is there's a song that plays through it, and he says if you do one thing, he even says it in the start of the comic. If you do one thing, read the comic and then go back through it and read it again while listening to the tune that we're playing in it.
Yeah.
That's quite quirky.
Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
like that, and I done the exact same, and it gave a different vibe
Mhm.
to reading the story. And so,
Yeah.
what I would suggest is you read it once just on your own, and then second time read it
Mhm.
with that tune playing in the background, and it just
Yeah.
gives a total different feel.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to Radio Apocalypse issue number 2, and then there was so many books that are coming out next week, so I went for some notable mentions. And guys, you're clearly all very familiar with these books, so I don't really need to go into much detail. We've got the Department of Truth, issue number 16. I'll first be the first to admit I fell off this quite quickly. I think issue 4 or 5, it just became too much for me. We've got House of Slaughter, issue number 5. I don't think I've read since issue number 2, so am I
Mhm.
missing something? Like, chat, tell me, is there something that I'm missing here?
I'd say stick with it, mate.
Right, okay. I will definitely. Somebody's got Charlie. You'll inevitably pick this issue, and I'll need to go and read all the back issues anyway. So, and then last but certainly not least, we have Saga issue number 56. So all you Saga fans there can get your fill of Saga goodness. That was the notable mentions for Killer Indie Picks for next week. If anybody hasn't started following me on Instagram, I'd love you to go do so. I stick up some of my pickups and all that sort of good stuff. So please come and give me a follow at perpetual.comics on Instagram and perpetual comics on Twitter.
Or
That
you
was
can,
the Killer
or you
Indies.
can follow Perpetual.chioma. She's good.
Yeah, my
She's
good
good as
friend.
well. Perpetual.chioma. But yeah, that's the trades. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the indie picks. Up next, we have the killer trades.
Killer trades.
Killers. We need to get Tom on an intro for this.
We do.
Trades. This is for next week as well. This is February the 23rd. This covers trades and hard covers. And it's you again. I'm just going to sit back on. You can carry on, mate. Off you go.
I've got it. Just as we come up with the killer trades there, I know there's a lot of people in the chat that watches and the rewind as well that prefer their trades.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a good idea if those guys sent us some of their picks that we can put up here, because we're just kind of picking what we like, but these guys are the experts. So if you guys want to send one of us what your picks are for the next show, then please do so, and we'll make sure that we feature it. Sound like a plan, Charlie?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Community involvement, is that what it's all about?
Before we get on this, there's quite a lot of news surrounding Iron Man, Ice Cream. Yeah, there's Iron Man as well, but there's surrounding Ice Cream Man, like CGCs that have you seen it?
Yes.
That have come back, and like suppliers have written over, or there's been ink leaks and stuff like that. It is what it is. Don't cry over spilt ice cream, I guess.
I've no idea why you brought that up, but moving on.
I just see Ice Cream Man. I just wanted to see if you could elaborate on it a bit more, but you clearly can't.
No, I just let you sink.
Okay.
Melt like the ice cream.
Right.
Ice Cream Man volume. What are we at? Volume.
I'm not going to
7?
help you out. No, I'm not helping you out.
I think it's volume 7. Yeah,
Okay.
volume 7. Certain Descents. So this is trade paperback and it's 128 pages. We're probably going to be coming in here about 14 quid, give or take, depending who your LCS is. And this is written by the fantastic W. Maxwell Prince and artwork by Marin Marazzo. So this collects Ice Cream Man issues number 25 to 28. I can't believe that Ice Cream Man has been going that long. It's testament to how good the individual stories are. And I can remember picking up issue number 1 way back in the day. In fact, I think I picked up cover A and B for it just to see what it was like. And I was hooked from day one.
I haven't read any.
Right, hold on. Right, there we go. Sorry, guys. For the rest of the show, it's just going to be myself because apparently Charlie doesn't read comics anymore.
Oh, hold on. And it's not just me. I've always been.
No, give me a second. Is it right click block? Is that how you do it?
I've been meaning to, and obviously I know, like, I'm really into my anthologies, and I only really got into anthology reading when you said about Silver Coin. I really want to read this. I never just sit down and think I'm going to read Ice Cream Man. It's never one that I think, oh yeah, I'm going to get into this. Whereas with Silver Coin, I was really into it because you picked it to read, which is the only reason I got into it. If you pick up like issue number 7, I'll probably read them all. But you know, like, do you see where I'm going with it? Unless you picked it, I wouldn't have read Silver Coin. So with this, I've heard a lot of talk about it. I've just never got around to reading it.
I think it's one of those ones where the beauty of it is that you can pick it up anywhere. And I would say that you could probably pick up any of them and you would be hooked.
Okay.
I think I see Triple G's commented there that he thinks it's great. I know that Triple G probably read quite a lot of them in the one go, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw one of his videos. Make sure you go and sub up to Triple G if you haven't already done so. But yeah, I would highly recommend Ice Cream Man. It's fantastic. Anything by W. Maxwell Prince is great. I cannot wait to get like the follow up to Haha. Do you remember Haha, Charlie? That seems so long ago as well. That was one of the greats. But yeah, so this looks like something that is maybe for you, Charlie. I might stick this on your Christmas list.
Go for it, mate. Yeah, definitely. Why not? Next. You went. You go first. You put the phone down. No, I'll put you. Put the phone down.
To me. This is what happens when the two of us is control. It's just anarchy, absolute anarchy. So this is. I've been waiting so long for this. Snow Angels Volume 1. This is written by the fantastic Jeff Lemire and artwork by the extraordinarily good Jock, if I do say so myself. This is coming in at 104 pages. So this actually only has issue 1 and 4. And then I believe the second volume is going to have issues 5 to 10, I think is what the plan is. I've read all of this on Comixology, and it is absolutely fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because Jock's doing the artwork, but that does help a lot, to be fair. The story is great. Jeff Lemire's. It's almost like these guys kind of what's been working together for years and years and years. They just seem to sort of vibe off each other. But yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I agree with what Connie said now. I'm biased. I love the artwork, and it was the reason why I picked it up. I think if another artist was doing it, I'm not entirely sure if I would have picked it up to read it. But I'm glad I did, and I would highly recommend picking this up.
I did like Snow Angels. Like I really, really like Jeff Lemire. I think he's got a real way of writing character emotion and portraying that through his writing and getting the artist to do what he's trying to portray in such a way that it's so endearing and so empowering that when you're reading it, you think, I can't help but feel emotionally involved with these characters.
Yeah.
But I think it is true what you and Connie have said. The story, it's a great story, but the artwork for me is stronger. And it's not just because it's Jock. I think it is because it's Jock because of the way that he's doing stuff. But I'm hoping that it's going to get better. Like it's a great story.
It's great. I can definitely put my hand up and say that it is definitely worth a read and to stick with it. I've been reading the next issues on Comixology. I know that I think Tom had ordered up some of these for the shop, and they should be arriving at some point. And I'm almost sure he has maybe one or two left, and hopefully they're going to come with a signed book plate with it. So if any of you guys haven't got this ordered and are interested, then drop Tom a message, and I'm sure they'll be able to sort you out.
Indeed, yeah. Like I'm looking forward to this. Like, yeah, I am. I love this part of the show because it just fucking, with us doing this and with Dino and Comics versus the World posting their bloody trade paperbacks, I've got no willpower. I just said that to Dean in the chat. I've clearly got no willpower left now because I see these and I'm like, I'll message Dean and go, oh, where'd you get this from? Like, what? And I'm like, oh, I need to stop spending.
Do you know what I think it is? See, whenever it's the way they do the pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I've found that everybody who is into collecting trade paperbacks and omnibuses and all that good stuff, every person seems to have a potted plant from IKEA because they take all their pictures and they have a little potted plant. So I feel a little bit left out that I can't start collecting these because I don't have that potted plant.
Can we all get a GoFundMe page going to get Andy a potted plant?
Hashtag Andy's potted plant.
Go fun. But yeah, no, I'll definitely get, I like this section. I'm looking forward to reading this as well.
Nice. I think you're up next.
I am not next. Here we go, Serial by the fantastic Terry Moore. So this is Serial Volume 2, Cat and Mouse, 144 pages, coming in at $15.99, which is probably like 13 quid. Written art by Terry Moore. Now, obviously, the premise of this, like, I think I read issues 1, 2, and 3 and loved it. Like, really, really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was great. Like, serial killer, you think it's going to be her. Is it her? No, she's protecting her friend. Terry Moore's great at what he does. Terry Moore's really, really good at what he does. And this coming in at trade paperback form is just enjoyable because I think the stories, again, like Radio Apocalypse, were quite few and far between. Like, it was either 3 or 4 months before one come out. So to try and keep up with the story was pretty hard. But this, it is good. It is good. It's not what you think it is.
Again, another absolute sleeper book that I don't think anybody had on their radar. And I remember we read maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 issues of it.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression this was only meant to be like 5 issues.
Yeah.
And it seems to still be going at the minute. I must admit I dropped off after 5 issues. So this is something that I might actually pick up and see if it was worth sticking on for. But the artwork is kind of a like, how could you describe the artwork? I'm assuming it's still black and white, the same as the first sort of 5 issues were.
I know it's going to sound like cheesy, but it's by Abstract Studios, and the artwork is quite abstract.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, obviously, this is Terry Moore's studio. This is Terry Moore through and through. Like, it's run by Terry Moore, artwork, writing by Terry Moore. So he's clearly got a distinctive style with doing things. And when I picked up issue number 1 of this, I was like, am I really going to like it because it's black and white? But I liked the black and white Walking Dead, so that weren't nothing new for me. But I can see people thinking, I can't really get into this. But then comic books of old, like the old Beano and the Dandy and like what you used to pick up, were in black and white. So it's kind of taking you back. So it is enjoyable. It just takes a bit of getting used to.
You definitely couldn't imagine it not being black and white, though.
No.
That's the thing. Like, if you had to go back and read it again,
Yeah.
and it's funny because it's been so long since we read those first couple of issues for that back in the show. This is the sort of thing that I would actually probably pick up as like a reminder of those past shows that we've done as well. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this, guys, if you haven't got on it.
So yeah, that comes out next week as well. And then we've got Deceased Hope at World's End, the saga, 176 pages, $17.99, written by the fantastic Tom Taylor and artwork by Dustin and Guyon. Right, so this tells the story of the anti-life equation that's infected over the whole of the world, etc., etc. There's 3 arcs to this. I think there was Deceased, the first one, then there was Deceased something else, and then there's Deceased World End. They are great. They are good, and I like the actual books themselves are quite intricate, quite well done, like really nice books. I was all for this. I really, really enjoyed Deceased. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great story, and it got quite a bit of it got quite a bit of backing behind it. People were really interested in it and stuff like that. But I mean, they're pretty smart at what they've done. Obviously, there's Black Adam on the front. Black Adam's trade is dropping soon and stuff like that. So they're quite smart in when they're bringing it out and everything. But I've really, really enjoyed it. Have you ever read any, Andy?
I have all the issues. I think Francesco Mattina was doing variant covers for them all, so I'm a bit of a Mattina fan. So I have them sitting there. I just haven't read it yet.
But it is, yes, I've got the first two, and I'll probably pick up this as well.
Of course you will.
Of course I will. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Connie's saying that Sarah's been on her radar for ages, but she hasn't got round to it. GP is volume 1 is on eBay for £13. And then she has said, I like the first one, but does it really need to be multiple trade series? I thought the first one ended perfectly. That's for Deceased. And then
No, I think that's for Serial, was it not?
Was it for Serial? Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
Connie, was that for Serial or Deceased? All thanks, GP. I'll have a look for payday. I dropped about 70 quid in my LCS this past week. Well, I hope whoever picked that up spent it wisely.
I think Connie picked up Layla Starr from Coffee and Heroes. Was it Coffee and Heroes you were at? No, I think not. No. I don't know. No.
But yeah, dropping 70 quid in your comic book shop. It's always a good thing. Oh, she was talking about Deceased. She was talking about Deceased.
Okay, sorry.
So yeah, I enjoyed this, and the artwork is pretty decent as well, and it's Tom Taylor, pretty good. So yeah, and then up next we have. Oh, that is it. That is it.
Oh, is that it? Already?
That is it already. That's it.
That was quick.
It was, wasn't it? That's what she said. But yeah, it was. But yeah, so I think this week let's just have a quick look at we're going to end the poll anytime soon. But Andy, I think you pipped it by 12% this week, mate. I am on 44 and you are on 56. So Andy, you win week number 7. Now, a lot of people might look at this and think Charlie can't count because I've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 5. That's because 1, we're a week behind, and 2, we had some special guests on them previous weeks. We had Jeremy Holt and George Shaw on 2 weeks ago, and then before that we had the fantastic Carla Cohen. So that feels in there. But Andy, yeah, you're catching up with me now. It's 3 for 2. Tom, unfortunately, hasn't won one yet, but he has won the hearts of the viewers, and we can't wait to see him back. But yeah, what's going on, Andy and Charlie? What's happening? Comics and Pops, thanks for coming in, mate. Actually, right, you did this to me a couple of weeks ago, right? So you've got the deciding vote, as it were. Cover of the week. Let's go back to it and just show it one more time. So we had this fantastic cover by me, Nathan Scherzy variant for next number 4, and we had Andy's cover, X-Last of Wolverine issue number 3, the Jen Bartel variant. I'm not even going to lie, I would vote for this, because this is amazing. I love this cover. I like Jen Bartel artwork. So you've got the deciding vote, and I think it's safe to say that you're running away with. Oh, actually, it's changed. It's 53% and 47 now. I think there's no way I'm going to catch you. But
Charlie, listen, if you can just keep talking for the next hour, and hopefully somebody will pick up. But let's just call it quits. I'm the winner.
let's call it quits. But yes, you are the winner. So we are now at the part of the show where we do the Killer Comic Show Killer Community shout out. We did it last week for the fantastic guys over at the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. If you haven't subbed up to them or checked them out, make sure you do already, because last night's show, they featured Comics vs. the World, aka Rich, who has an Instagram account, and he does have a YouTube account, and obviously his Instagram account is full of trade paperbacks, which is why I try not to go near it. It's a page dedicated to showcasing the comics in his collection, plus new purchases and reviews and comic chat as well. So head over to youtube.com/comics vs. the world and instagram.com comics vs. the world as well. Now, we as a collective, comic book lovers, toy collectors, we're all nerds and geeks at heart, and I think that's why Instagram is so great, because you can kind of see different people reading different things, interacting with yourself and stuff like that. It's great. Head over there, check them out. And this is obviously Comics versus the World. He's an avid watcher of this show. He's an avid watcher of the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. He was on there last night as well. So yeah, massive fan of the show. Thank you so much for always checking in and jumping on and leaving a comment saying that he's going to check the rewind and stuff like that. But it's great. Check him out. Absolute great
Definitely.
guy, and his beard game is strong. There was a
Oh,
strong
listen,
beard game last night over at Nerd Her Comic Book Club, mate.
listen.
So
The beard game across the board was kind of a strong yesterday. On the nerd herd guys. So yeah, definitely go. I've stuck Rich's Instagram there, so please go and give him a follow. Big supporter of our show, big supporter of all the shows across the board. And yeah, great beard.
But that's not it, because remember we entered we did an entry for who would win a signed trade paperback from Jeremy Holt from Made in Korea,
Mhm.
and I think I can't remember what the rules were. I think you had to watch last week's show to find out how to enter, then watch the interview we did with Jeremy Holt, and then post in the comment section hashtag Jeremy Holt and what
Charlie, I think what we discovered is that we hate doing giveaways. Not that we hate
yes.
giving stuff away.
No.
It's just we like. Is it fair to say that between the three of us, we're kind of not the most kind of organized guys in the world, and that we kind of just go with the flow.
We just like
Hence this.
random giveaways instead of planning them. So
Yeah,
this,
exactly. Yeah, because there's always a thing with giveaways that you'll do a giveaway and everybody will jump on board just to get the free stuff.
mhm.
So, yeah, I think post this one and us getting a winner for this, I think what we might do, maybe in a weekly basis every couple of weeks, we'll just randomly give free stuff away,
Why not?
just for the hell of it.
We just randomly select someone in the chat, or we just
Yeah,
find out who they are and just send them stuff. But yeah, so the people in the chance of winning are, let's have a look. So we've got Brian Bullen, we have Chris Bell, we have Clive Evans, we've got Claire Prescott. That is Prescott, it's not Precott. Prescott, we've got Fuzzy Dunlop, and we've got Punnels in a half pint. So there are 6 of you, so I will shuffle it 6 times.
shuffle
1,
it, shuffle
2,
it.
3, 4, 5, 6, and then one of you lucky people will win a signed trade paperback by the writer Jeremy Holt.
I can't believe only 6 people entered
I
this.
know, but that's it now, isn't it? And there we go. It is Mr. Chris Bell. You are the winner. So yeah, congratulations with that. I know you was in the show earlier, but what I will do, I will reach out to you if you're watching on the rewind. Just drop me a message on Instagram. If not, I will reach out to you and get your contact details, and then we will get that in the post. It is coming from America, so there will be a slight delay in it. It's coming actually from Jeremy's personal collection. He's going to sign it, and then he's going to send it over, because that was the only way we could get him to sign it. So yeah, that's great. What a good end to the show.
Indeed. I love giving stuff away.
I like doing it more randomly though, instead of just being structured and think, yeah, do this, do that.
It doesn't fit well with my anxiety. I'm like,
Nah.
no, what, have we got everybody in the wheel? Is the wheel going to work? Are we going to send it to the other end of the world? Is it going to cost us a fortune?
That's it. But yeah, that's it. Another week down, another Thursday done. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Do we want to tell them about next week?
Next week?
Yeah.
What's happening next week?
No show next week?
Oh, we haven't got a show next week. No, there's no show next week because...
Do you see what I mean, guys? Like, come on.
There's no show. There is no show next week because I'm out. Tom's working, and he doesn't want to do it on his own. But maybe things might change. There might be a show. If there is a show, there might be. If there isn't, there isn't. But the one on the 3rd of March is going to be a pretty big show. I think the promos for that will start next week. But it is going to be a good one.
It's going to be extra special. So stay tuned for that. Listen, like these guys are deserting me next week, right? I'll leave it up to the chat. If you guys think they're going to say no, if you guys want me to do it on my own, then just let me know in the comments and stuff like that, and I won't miss the show. And if anybody wants to jump on and join me, then and talk some comics, then please, you're more than welcome to.
Connie's in space. Yeah, Connie's in Spain. Connie's in Spain next week, so that suits her perfectly. Time is relative, or is that grandpa? There is no next week. There is only now. Exactly. What? Yes. I think the consensus is that everyone's pissed off with the fact that there's no show next week, so plans might need to be changed. That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
Oh, right. I see.
But yeah, it's good. Like the show on the 3rd is going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Look, Mark's going to join you. Yeah, look, Mark will join you. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
So
Good
there is
man.
a
Good
show.
man.
So there is a show
Listen,
next week.
we'll probably have so many people joining. It'll be an absolute party. We'll get this channel taken down. We'll just wreck the place.
It'll be the YouTube sexiest man is joining Andy next week.
Right. Okay.
See what he did there. Yeah, and Wakazashi is always up for a collaboration. There we go. So, but the time difference will be a bit of a killer. It'll be fine. You just drink your coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, the chat takeover.
There we go. Chat takeover. Killer comic chat takeover. I like it.
There we go.
That's a good
Well
idea.
done. There we go. But that's another week done. That's another fantastic show. Massive shout out to every single one that interacts in the chat every single week. Thanks for giving Andy his 2nd win of the year. And it just goes to show that, yeah, if you can draw fire, it doesn't really matter. You're still not going to win.
Yeah, very, very, very. No, big shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody who is going to watch the rewinds. Make sure that you're going and following everybody's YouTubes and socials and all that good stuff. And we might see you next week, but we'll definitely see you in the start of March.
Yeah, we will. Have a good one, guys. See you later.